Kia ora koutou, and welcome to the latest episode of the Business Spotlight podcast. I'm Darryn Gray from Darryn Gray Consulting, and in conjunction with the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce, we are proud to bring you this podcast series aimed at shining a spotlight on the incredible businesses within our Hutt Valley community. Now, in each episode, we chat to one local Hutt Valley business, uncovering their unique stories, their innovative practices, and the invaluable contribution they make to our region. Now, we try and do the podcast unedited so we can get to meet the real people behind the business and have real conversation, albeit in a short time frame. So if you hear or see the odd mistake, just go with it and enjoy. So today, we are thrilled to introduce to you Carol Speirs from One Day Training. Now, One Day Training is a small but neatly formed training provider that by being flexible and adaptable can meet your training and development needs. And Carol, we talked a minute ago about your lovely catchphrase. What was it? Learn today and lead tomorrow. I love it.
That's right.
Nice. Okay, so let's dive into today's episode. So, Carol, welcome. Tell us, what's your ideal client, or who is your ideal client, and what problems do you help them solve?
Well, kia ora and tēnā koutou katoa. Carol Speirs, One Day Training. So I guess my ideal customer is kind of any organization that values practical skills and needs training that doesn't just tick a box, right? So it actually changes behavior. So people do something differently as a result of attending that training. The next day they make a change to what they're doing. They're more efficient or something. So it's anyone really that needs transferable skills that make a difference to how they're going to work. So to be more productive, I guess you could say. The problems that we solve, we often know that people get promoted, which is great, but they may not have the skills for that new job. So I can go in there and help them develop those new skills that they need for that new job. I do a lot of work with folks that are coming up through the ranks, and now they're supervisor or now they're team leader, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do first? What do I do next? How do I work with the team? So things like supervision, team leadership, setting goals, those types of things could be a bit of a mystery to some of these folks. So that's where One Day Training comes in. Really practical, useful stuff they can use straight off the bat.
Nice. I love it. So how would you describe what you do to someone at a party?
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on what time of the party, if it's early on,
True.
I'll be quite sensible. I think I'd say something along the lines of, I run One Day Training. We deliver super practical one-day workshops for businesses. Things like helping people manage their time better, communicate more effectively or clearly, or run projects well. Basically, we fix the kind of stuff that really annoys people at work. A lot of training, as you probably know, is boring and gets forgotten the next day. It's a lot of theory. All ours are really about the practical, real-world skills, those transferable skills, as we call them in the trade. You can transfer them onto the job straight off. That's what One Day Training is about.
Nice. Now, I had a quick look around your website, as you do, and I noticed there's some other things that you do as well. So tell me about the other services that One Day Training provides.
Absolutely. We've got lots of things on the go because I'm a curious person and like to get into all sorts of new things. Some time ago, I was working for a large financial institution and I got into the world of e-learning. So that's electronic learning, online learning, people call it sometimes. And so I've been creating modules and having a little bit of fun with the latest software and creating online learning. So I've done that for a number of organizations as well. So that's always challenging and fun to do that. We actually run projects as well, because I think in my world you can't really train project managers unless you are a project manager. You've got skin in the game, you've got the scars, you kind of know what's been going on in the background and all those stresses and strains. So I think I like to keep my hand in and run projects from time to time. So things that I've been doing around the project management space, putting in a health and safety tracking tool. So folks had just used Excel spreadsheets before, so now they needed a more online cloud-based system. So implementing that. Implementing how to understand the policy of the organisation. So again, a lot of new staff coming in. They needed to get up to speed with what the policies and procedures were for the organisation. So lots of training around that. I did work for a Hutt Valley business that dealt in payroll, and they wanted to train their trainers. So how can the trainers deliver the training effectively. So that was a really interesting project. Again, short time frame, but we got the job done in terms of upskilling their trainers. And I think most of them are still there. So that's good that they're engaged with their work and continuing on. One of the other things I really enjoy and get a big kick out of is coaching for project managers. So let's say, again, we call them accidental project managers. They've been appointed to the role and they've got the day job at the same time. Sometimes it's a matter of how do I juggle all that stuff and what's that project management stuff anyway. So I go in one-on-one. We spend an hour or two over a period of a few weeks and just get them up to speed on some of those key things that they need to do as project managers. So coaching one-on-one, I think really, again, they haven't got time to go on a training course, but they really need some help. So one-to-one.
A lot of that just-in-time support, isn't it? And I know I can remember my own career journey at times there. You think you know the level of skill you need for a particular role or a particular job, and then you get there and you go, oh my goodness, there is so much I don't know.
Yeah.
You
don't know who's there.
Yes. So where do you see your business heading in the next few years?
Oh, right. Yeah. So this is always a, kind of a bit of a crystal ball thing, isn't it? Really, how do we grow? How do we expand? I guess one of the things that I'm quite keen on is that we don't just offer off the shelf stuff. So the customization, expanding the course offerings so that they meet the needs of the businesses around at the moment. New workshops, things on AI. I'm developing one of those for a workshop in town later next month. So just keeping up to date and making sure that things like the leadership for first-time managers, there's more offerings around the topics that people find interesting. I guess one of the ways I want to be known, or One Day Training wants to be known, is that we are the go-to for practical, high-impact, short-format training. So I think and many people have been on those week-long leadership courses as well. There's such a lot crammed in there. I think people are more interested perhaps these days in shorter formats, so bite-size, half-day, full-day workshops, go away, put that into place, and then come back for more. So I do want to be known as the practical, short training format for New Zealand and possibly beyond. Who knows?
Nice. I know the world is our oyster now, isn't it? So what's one thing about your business that might really surprise people?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of us have been on training courses and you thought, wow, that's really interesting, but not really applied it. So one of the things that I think is surprising for people is they say things like, I wish I'd known that earlier, or gosh, I didn't realize that was so easy to do. So it's surprising for them that we can fit in so much into a short time frame and that they can use it straight away. So it's not a whole lot of theory, not a whole lot of, slides, for example, so endless PowerPoint slides. So it's a practical side of it. So we'll do a little bit of explanation about a system or a process, and then we'll get them to apply it straight off. So how would I use this, or how would I adapt it or adopt it for my own organization? So how can I share it with others, for example, as well? There's always a good practical way of using something. So I think people get surprised that some of the stuff they can use straight off.
That's really cool. And I mean, it's so important today we seem to have lots of technology to help us, but we're still seeming fairly time poor and the time to do this sort of stuff, isn't it? I think it's great. I love it. Love it. Yeah. So we're in some interesting times at the moment. There's no doubt about that. What are some of the challenges that you find you face as a small business?
Yeah, I guess a lot of the things are kind of similar to other small businesses. And I'm going to put it down to wearing all the hats. Yeah. So one minute you're the consultant and expert in your field, the next minute you're the salesperson, the marketing person. I've got to post a few things on LinkedIn and all the rest of it. The admin person, I've got to get that GST return done. So yeah, you're it basically. I think with a small business, you have to be jack of all trades and try and master quite a lot of things. There's tons of tools, which is great, but that puts the pressure on, doesn't it, in terms of learning all those tools, putting them to best use and not overusing them. So some folks have kind of got into Canva and things like that and ChatGPT. You want to kind of use your brain still. So you've still got to kind of master all that stuff. Another challenge, I think, in the training and learning and development industry is that you need to stand out, right? So you need to offer something that doesn't just sound good on paper or on screen. It needs to be useful, and getting a good reputation and getting good feedback really valuable. I think post-COVID, people do want to make those connections, right? So feeling part of a group, discussing things really deeply, getting more insights. If you've had a similar situation, how did you handle it? I think those are really valuable things that really only happen in a face-to-face classroom. So online learning is great, and I'm certainly an advocate of that, but it does have its limitations. And I think with people perhaps working remotely, they're not in the office as much. I think having that connections with your colleagues is still really important, and can't be underestimated, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I did read something the other day that said along the lines of, we're better connected now technology-wise than we've ever been before, but we're in the midst of a loneliness epidemic.
I think I'd have to agree with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, particularly the time it takes to share a story. We don't always have time on an online meeting for all that sort of stuff. So, the coffee chats that you would have at the break times or the lunchtime breaks. I think there's value, there's gold in there in terms of learning from others.
Absolutely. Those conversations by the water cooler, how do we replicate that? It'd be really interesting. So we got to have a great conversation the other day when we were doing some prep work for this, and you talked about some of the other things that you do outside of work. So outside of work, and that's so important, isn't it? That we have that time to do other things, recharge our batteries, take a breath, all that kind of stuff. So what's a passion or a hobby that you've got?
Oh, goodness, so many. Where do I start? Goodness, let's start with the walking. So last year in March and April, I walked the Camino de Santiago. And so it was a long walk. We were well prepared, though, had done lots of, I say we, my husband and I, we did a lot of prep work for that, and but it was brilliant. We had all sorts of weather. We had beautiful sunny days, t-shirt and shorts kind of thing, and then we started to get into the cold and the wind and the rain. Actually had snow one day as well, so had all the thermals on. So I knew it. I was well prepared though, and very tired at the end, but super happy that we had done the Camino, got our certificate and what they call our Compostela. So very happy with that. So I'm trying to carry on with the walking. So this year my goal is to walk 1,000 kilometers in 1 year. So I'm tracking that, of course, as you do as a project manager on a spreadsheet. You've got all that tracking. So out this morning, first thing, 6:30, out tracking around the Lower Hutt area. So trying to keep up the walking. So bit of a challenge this morning, only 3 degrees. So again, bundled up, warm, lots of thermals on.
I know. Did that myself. I had to take the dog for a walk this morning, and it was a little on the chilly side, I just have to say. Yeah. Now, we're both in the chamber, and I've been in the chamber now, probably coming up about 1.5 years. How does being in the chamber help what you do?
Yeah, so I think the chamber has been wonderful for me and for one-day training. I have been, just trying to think back, probably about 8 years now. So joined when I first started one-day training, because I felt that there was some resources there and some folks that could help me. So to me, the chamber provides a network of like-minded people that are striving for success, right? So all Hutt-based as well, which is great. The chamber, of course, has a vast database of organisations that could be a source of business for me. Certainly the connections that I've had have been really valuable. But also that support that I was talking about, people who have been there and done that. They've got some experiences, they can share their knowledge. Today I was having a look at the chamber website just to make sure I'm up to date with everything. And I think I counted about 13 different events and things that you could go to. Some are free, some are paid, some are, during the work days, some are in the evening. So many choices of different things, trying to keep you up to date, trying to help you with those tools and skills that you might need as a solo person, as a business owner. So brilliant in terms of the things that they offer and the support that they offer. I think it's great.
Nice. And we get to do a podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Carol, if people want to chat a little bit more or find out a little bit more information about what you do, how do they get hold of you?
So 2 ways. So first of all, you could just jump onto the website, www.onedaytraining.co.nz. And from there, there's a contact sheet, or just an email is fine, Carol, Carol, @onedaytraining.co.nz. So I'm usually on the email quite early in the morning, so you're bound to get a response reasonably quickly. So either way is perfectly fine.
Nice. Hopefully not while you're out walking, though.
No.
It's important downtime. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this month's Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight podcast. Today, we've been talking to Carol Speirs from One Day Training. And as Carol said, you can find out some more at www.onedaytraining.co.nz. Or Carol, the email again?
Yep. So Carol, just Carol, @onedaytraining.co.nz.
Nice. Carol, thanks for giving us some insight into what you do. You've been listening today to the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. Thank you for joining us, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Chamber's streaming channels for more fascinating insights. You'll find us there. I'm your host, Darryn Gray from Darryn Gray Consulting, your local Hutt Valley learning designer, facilitator, and ICF credentialed coach. Kia ora.